I think having you here again for a second visit is testimony to the relations that tie our two countries together. I met with you in 2019, and at 2019 we said that we would speak again in Paris. But in the meantime, we have actually met via phone calls or via a video conference to discuss many points that cover our relations. We have ongoing exchanges, and those conversations show the strategic importance of our alliance between our two countries. It shows that we have been able to continue work, and what we have been able to discuss this morning at length is also proof of our ties. But given the current social and economic crisis that is wreaking havoc around the world, that is creating disequilibrium around the world, shows that partnerships between countries is essential. It's essential for our two countries, for stability within our countries, but also stability within the Middle East and the Mediterranean. I would like to reiterate here again the importance that we have in strengthening our partnerships by feeding into them. Something that we have spoken about at great length is the importance of this to Libya, because we need to ensure stability in the country, and we've been working on this for some years now. We have seen that things have been changing and things are heading in the right direction. I would like to welcome the work of the United Nations and political dialogue processes that are underway, because it has brought about considerable progress in the past few months. But once again, this is under threat. This is coming under threat from regional powers who have sought to turn Libya into an own theatre where they can play out their own influence, where they are impeding upon the very health and survival of the Libyan people. We have seen that the benefits brought from an ongoing political dialogue. Now, while things have improved, they are still fragile and under threat. We see Turkish and Russian forces who are still present on the ground, and we need to find a political solution to be able to bolster everything that we have acquired and gained up till now. And I think Egypt plays a vital role in this. This is something that we have spoken about at great length this morning, and it is my wish to further, in a coordinated manner, with all of our European partners and allies in the region, working directly with the UN process. We want to bring this political dialogue to its logical conclusion, to ensure that we will bring balance back to the country, and that we will have political stability and a sound conclusion to the political dialogue process. And something that will come out of this will be the sustainable ongoing production of oil in the region. There are a number of points that we see eye to eye on, that we will not impede upon national sovereignty of local nations, and that's why we need to work in cooperation. We have been working with countries in the Eastern Mediterranean basin to ensure that national sovereignty is upheld. And we've been working in many fields, including energy. We have spoken at great length about the Sahel region, Iran, but also Lebanon, because we have seen that there is international support to the Lebanese people, and you, President El-Sissi, you were part of that international support. And it is a long-standing friend, a nation, but it is continuing to suffer. And reform that has been long expected has not come into effect. We wanted to see a stronger Lebanon, a Lebanese state that was stronger, one that had the support of the Lebanese people, not one that had been taken hostage by a few of the political elite. We have spoken about this at great length in the past few months, but also this morning. We spoke about peace in the Middle East and also the importance of ongoing cooperation. In all of these areas, these essential topics, there are a number of areas that we see eye to eye on, but there are a number of concerns as well. The ongoing fight against terrorism, which has struck us all so hard these past few years, both at home and abroad, requires our further attention. We need to continue to fight against this scourge. And that is why we will provide our technical, military cooperation. And it has been exemplary over the past few years and will continue to cooperate in those ways. We also have a defense partnership, an agreement that has been put in place, and we want to see that furthered. This state visit will, in fact, also be an opportunity to highlight economic partnerships. French companies are very present in Egypt. We have been there to help develop infrastructure and provision of services. And to that effect, our role as presidents is to ensure that this relationship will continue to benefit both countries. And there are a number of agreements that will be signed today and tomorrow to that effect. Given the COVID-19 crisis, we have also paid great attention to the fact that we need to bolster relations between France and Egypt to further help each other in terms of any forms of assistance that we can provide. The AFD, the French Foreign Development Agency, has also stepped up to the mark to try and provide Egypt with assistance. In our conversations this morning, as frankly speaking friends, we spoke about the issue of human rights. It is something that I mentioned publicly when we met with journalists back in January 2019 in Cairo. I know how deeply hit Egypt is by terrorism, as we are here. I know how Egypt is faced with such socio-economic challenges, with a growing population, with a civil society that is so dynamic. But that is the true way to fight against extremism. Given I understand how extensive the challenges are that Egypt faces, I would call on the President to try and enforce and bolster the socio-economic fiber of his country so that the social, the democratic powers of the country will remain active, will remain dynamic, because that is a true way of tackling any form of extremism. I would like to welcome the work of a number of NGOs, and we spoke this morning of a number of key cases. Before handing over to President El-Sissi, I would just like to finish on these closing remarks. France is targeted by hatred campaigns, by ignorance and extremism. I would like to thank the President, a great friend in the Arab world of Egypt. I would like to thank him for visiting, because our partnership feeds into the ongoing stability of the Mediterranean region, and we can work together to show a united front against the socio-economic, societal, environmental challenges that we all face. We can work together to make the Mediterranean an area of exchange, dialogue, cultures, and cooperation. And given this role as great civilizations, we cannot stand by when hatred runs rife and hate speech runs rife.